It's one of the most consequential abortion cases in a generation, and it could radically change the battle over women's rights. Today, the Supreme Court heard oral arguments in a Mississippi abortion case that could make it nearly impossible to get an abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy. The case directly challenges the historic 1973 Roe v. Wade decision, which legalized abortion in the U.S., and the 1992 Planned Parenthood versus Casey ruling, which let states regulate abortions until the point of viability at about 24 weeks. According to the Washington Post, Justice Kavanaugh repeatedly indicated he would be open to overturning settled law, including Roe v. Wade, citing a long list of past Supreme Court cases that had been ruled against precedent. Those cases, Kavanaugh said, included Brown v. Board of Education, which outlawed the separate but equal doctrine. Justice Sotomayor warned that the court could risk its legitimacy if it becomes too political and overturns Roe and Casey. Take a listen.
Will this institution survive the stench that this creates in the public perception that the Constitution and its reading are just political acts?
Although this case will not be decided for months, the Guttmacher Institute warns that overturning Roe could lead to 26 states banning abortion. Joining me now to discuss is the author of About Abortion, Terminating Pregnancy in the 21st Century America, and professor at Columbia Law School, Carol Sanger, and the executive director of SisterSong, Women of Color Reproductive Justice Collective, Monica Simpson. So, Monica, I want to start with you. What did you make of the arguments today before the court?
It was a long day. Let me just start by saying that. We are coming off of such amazing organizing from Mississippi all the way up here to DC. And, you know, we kind of knew what we were coming up against, right? We are up against a court that has 6 conservative justices, most of which were appointed under the Trump administration. And, you know, even though I'm so grateful for the stance that Justice Sotomayor took for us, right, I'm also really concerned about the state of this court and what this really means for our organizing, what this means for the people on the ground. And this absolutely spoke volumes today as we heard each of these justices give their remarks and really think and gave us what they really thought about what was happening here.
Carol, many court watchers thought that the court today was signaling that they were willing to at least uphold the law in Mississippi, if not go further and overturn Roe altogether. What is your reading of the tea leaves about what the arguments represented today?
Well, the tea leaves are always somewhat untrustworthy because they're not going to decide this. We're not going to hear the outcome of the case until June. And so between now and June, there's going to be a lot of infighting or trading or bartering, although we don't know what for, so that we can't be sure. But it was a dismal day. And I didn't think I'd feel so deflated actually within the first 5 minutes of the oral argument, and then by the end of it. So there was definitely attention given to the 15 weeks as a reasonable period, without any acknowledgement by the conservative justices that was utterly taking down Roe. And there were arguments made to try to convince the listeners that no, it's not so bad. 15 weeks really is the same as viability, which is, as you said, 23 to 24 weeks. And so there's a lot to be concerned about. And the change of Mississippi, who just started out saying, please uphold our 15-week bill, our 15-week statute. And then they shifted and said, and while you're at it, why don't you we're formally asking you to get rid of Roe and Casey. So and they have the votes to do it if they want. So that's
Monica, one of the things
beyond worrying.
One of the things that struck me most about listening to the arguments today was them, people who sounded like they were kind of antagonistic to Roe and in addition to the people who are arguing for the Mississippi bill, constantly invoking civil rights cases as an argument for overturning Roe. And in fact, those civil rights cases were almost all of them, not all of them completely, because there was a case on same-sex marriage, but many of those cases were about protections for black people. It was very interesting then to hear Sotomayor and some of the other liberal justices argue the exact opposite, that what is going to happen in Mississippi if you uphold this is that it is going to hurt black people. Were you having that same split screen kind of dissonance that I was experiencing listening to them invoke Plessy and then say they're gonna, kind of overturn Roe?
It's absolutely absurd. I was feeling exactly like you. And unfortunately, this is something that we have to deal with all the time as we're doing this organizing across the country and in particular in the South. Our opposition, they are committed to using civil rights and using the rights that black folks fought so hard for to uphold their decision making. And it's absolutely disgusting to me, to be quite honest. Because you are absolutely right. What we could also argue right now, like we are trying to hold on to Roe v. Wade, but if you would ask black folks and folks of color in the South and across this country how they're dealing with abortion access right now, a lot of folks would say that we are already beyond Roe, right? We have states that only have one abortion clinic, like Mississippi, right? Where access to abortion is already out of reach for so many people, and in particular for black folks and folks of color. So for them to try to uphold, these landmark cases around civil rights as a way to, try to move their point forward, it's a political game that
Right.
they should not be playing. It's very dangerous, and it's something that we are constantly having to push back against.
Carol, there was just so many times I wanted to just jump in and make part of the argument myself because there just felt like so much was not being said. At one point, the argument was made about adoption as an option, therefore women wouldn't need to get abortions. But what went unsaid was this is Mississippi, the blackest state in the country. Number one, the mother mortality rates among pregnant women is atrocious in Mississippi, number one. But even if you make it through the pregnancy, adoptions are incredibly expensive, incredibly arduous. Black children are overrepresented in foster care and underrepresented among those who get adopted. Like there was so much that went unsaid about the arguments that were being made today. What was your biggest moment of, if I could jump in and say something, I would say something right here?
Yeah, well, I would take one of my big moments was when Justice, our justice who replaced Ruth Bader Ginsburg was asking. She asked twice, "Well, what about safe haven laws?" Safe haven. That's what she was referring to. That the attorneys translated as adoption, which was in a way correct. But I've worked on safe haven laws, and these are laws where you can bring, they were laws passed so that young and confused girls wouldn't kill a newborn. And it says, bring your newborn down to the emergency room or to the fire department and leave it there. And so we will have saved a life. But what it didn't talk about at all was, if you have a child that you deliver by yourself, you've delivered it without any medical care at all. So you've had one of the most dangerous kinds of labor and delivery there is, and this was being offered up as a good thing to show how women are less desperate than they used to be, because they can deposit their babies in emergency rooms. So I thought that was a real, and I don't think most people even knew what she was talking about when she was when Barrett was talking about safe haven laws. I think people were saying, what? What is that? Because they're not used very much at all. But the lawyers were right to quickly say, we've always had adoption. Well, sort of.
Right. Yeah, Carol, there were so many times where I was like, what are they talking about? But anyway, Monica Simpson and Carol Sager, thank you both for joining us tonight. This is a very perilous time in the country. Thank you for your time.